Welcome to the hot part of July.
It's moving. That's not too bad, though, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, right now, it's, I think 97 today, but like 108 by the weekend or something like that. Like fucking Phoenix, Arizona kind of shit.
Yeah, but normally I feel like May, you know? Like we're dying in May.
Because we're not used to it yet.
Yeah. Well, even then, it's like 90s. But we've had like 80s.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
We've had like an amazing spring.
Yeah, it's been very nice, extended spring.
Yeah, that's like the fault or the negative people say about NorCal or Sacramento in particular. I guess the whole Central Valley, Modesto, Stockton, Fresno is like there's only really 2 seasons.
Yeah.
You know? You get like a pretty cold 40s, 50s, some rain, or you just fucking melt. But we've had a pretty good, even fall, I feel like. You know, we had a couple 60s, 70s, and then it got real wet and kind of rainy, but
and very, very wet winter. Extremely.
Yeah, very. I'll take a little heat. I don't really care.
I'm not the biggest fan of heat, honestly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really like cold either.
Yeah.
I'd like to find a consistent temperature and just kind of stay there. That'd be.
I mean, that's why LA's LA.
Yeah.
Right. That's why everyone says
like,
they move there. You get 70 year round, literally.
Yeah, and unless you don't, in which case people really bitch.
Yeah.
When it gets hot or it gets cold.
Yeah.
Or it was I think they had a super wet spring, like wetter than us.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think they even had flooding this year, which is rare.
Yeah.
And then it depends where you live. Like, LA's so big.
Yeah.
You know, California's way more giant than everyone listening thinks, and LA's even bigger than you think, too. So, yeah, you're over on there on, like, Malibu and Santa Monica. Yeah, it's going to be 75 and beautiful all year, but you go inland, it'll get 80s, 90s. It'll get your ass.
Mm.
Where the NorCal, too, right? You go an hour away to San Francisco, and it's probably 60 today.
Oh, I'm sure it's 60 today. Yeah, I was there last week, and it was.
They're pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's cold in the summer, and
it's cold in the winter.
It's cold in the winter, and spring and fall in the Bay Area is really the best.
Yeah, I don't even mind. Yeah, there's summer, and I don't really mind that fog either. I actually kind of like the NorCal coast vibe.
If you're prepared for it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, like living in it, and it's not that wet.
Yeah, it's different than like Seattle, which is like it's wet so much that you.
Yeah.
It can affect your mood for sure.
Even Sacramento being pretty extreme weather summer winter is I think you don't have to like change your life.
Yeah.
Like if you live in like Michigan, you have to change your life by season.
Right.
Like your actual wardrobe changes. You have to get up an hour earlier cuz you got to defrost your car.
Right.
Like your entire roads closed. Like actually you know, like you literally your lives are different from month to month. Here I don't feel like I ride my bike a little more in the summer. But that's like I'm one of one. Most people drive. Obviously.
Yeah, it's like the worst that it gets during the day most of the time in the winter is in the 50s.
Right.
55, 54, whatever.
Yeah. Mornings are a little cold.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like maybe a jacket.
Yeah.
Like someone just asked about a good company jacket. I don't even think about jackets because I wear hoodies.
It's a little too warm.
Yeah.
So that hoodie that's coming is pretty nice, though.
Yeah. But even in the winter, you know?
Yeah.
Like the times I wear a jacket are so rare.
Yeah.
Boston, when I travel to Boston or New York.
I will wear one, but it just kind of, I don't know, just layers or whatever, you know?
Yeah, and it was wet, so you got to wear some shit.
Yeah, I'm okay with wearing a hoodie with a you know, kind of a light rain jacket over it a lot of the winter if it's, you know, if it's super windy or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have wind.
Yes. This is scintillating part of the conversation.
Yeah,
we're just talking about the weather, that's, you know.
The fight of the century. For one, it was a really good UFC card. I haven't been watching UFC as much as I wanted, but it was International Fight Week, so I tapped in.
Yeah.
Great fights over the weekend. But the one, and it sounds like it's going UFC, they have a UFC shirt.
Is that real?
The shirt was real. I know the shirt was real. I know they've talked to Dana. Zuckerberg versus Musk in the octagon.
That's so crazy.
And they're both training. They're with fucking Lex Friedman, and they're with GSP, and they're running around. But what's funny to me, I mean, it's not that funny, but what's interesting to me is that they automatically, like, jiu-jitsu's so popular on the internet, like, it's so trendy, that they're both just doing jiu-jitsu. Where, like...
And it's mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously you need jiu-jitsu, but, like, 80% of fights, you know, are there's a lot of stand-up in the UFC now. So, like... And if I'm more athletic, which I don't know who's more athletic, but off the rip, it's probably the robot. It's probably Zuck.
Yeah.
You know, Elon just, I don't know, man. He moves really gangly. Like, he just looks like a sack of potatoes. And so like, and not that Zuck's some fucking model. You know, Zuck literally is Star Trek fucking. Who's Star Trek? The smart dude?
Data?
Spock.
Spock? Data.
Yeah.
He's more Data than
All
Spock.
right. Either one. He's just some fucking robot in outer space.
Yeah.
But he already knows some jujitsu.
Yeah.
So if I'm him, I mean, obviously, and maybe not obviously, but in my opinion, neither of these guys are primo athletes. But
no.
But if I already know some jujitsu, yeah, I'm just practicing punching motherfuckers. I'm gonna, and if they actually hate each other, which it seems like they really don't like each other.
Yeah.
I'm trying to knock a dude out.
Yeah.
I'm fucking working on my hook, and I'm gonna knock the fuck out of Elon.
I don't really like them either one of them that much myself.
No, me neither. I am cheering for Zuck just because it's so funny. You know, like his barbecue videos. There's just something more funny about him. Although
I just see Jesse Eisenberg every time I look at him from the Social Network. That's all I ever see.
Yeah, he played that role pretty good.
I take that movie as gospel, even though I know it's not.
Yeah, it probably is. It's probably close. Yeah, they both kind of suck. And once you unravel the layers, I think they're both darker than we want to admit to. You know, everyone kind of sees it with Zuck, but people don't see it yet with Elon. But they will in like 5 years. Just like how corrupt they probably both are.
Oh, I think people see it.
Really?
Oh,
people love Elon.
No, I think. Well, I mean, people do. Yeah, for sure. There are definitely stands out there for him, but
I think there's a shit ton.
There's a shit ton, yeah. But there are. I mean, a lot of people know that he didn't really start Tesla.
Yeah.
I mean, he essentially bought Tesla.
Yeah.
A lot of Tesla's development's been off the back of government funding.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
and even SpaceX, right? It's always
SpaceX,
partnered with
same
NASA.
deal.
Yeah, it's always partnered with NASA. Tesla's funny. Like, I don't think I've talked about it on the thing, but like I remember hearing about Tesla in like 2005. My best friend's dad, 2005, 2006. My best friend's dad was a financial guy. Made pretty good money. And I don't know why. I knew he was into cars, but I didn't know. I don't know. I'm fucking 15. I don't know anything. But I go into his office. I basically like lived at their houses on the weekend, and he's got all his monitors and shit. And he's like, work on one. And he's like, Mikey, like, look at this. And it was like the first Roadster they were making, like all drawn.
Oh.
You know, it was just like teasing what's coming. He's like, dude, we're going electric. I'm putting my name in. I'm buying this thing. Look how fast it is. Like,
yeah.
Because when the first Roadster, it was like $100K or something. It was like a straight sports car. And he's like, yeah, we're going to get that. I don't think he ever got it, but I remember hearing about it back then. I was like, oh, that's so weird. And then now you hear about a new fucking electric thing every weekend.
Yeah, we're kind of living in that time for sure.
But not a lot to fruition. Where's my truck?
Your Cybertruck?
Dude, I didn't buy it. Y'all got duped, man. I remember every friend of mine's like, yeah, I threw 150 at him. Say goodbye to that.
Yeah.
That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And he said it's coming out in a year.
Yeah.
Reserve your Tesla. That's got to be like suable.
Well, I mean, Microsoft used to do that with software. I don't know if they do it really anymore, but
and it would never come out.
Yeah.
That sucks. People suck.
Yeah, it's called vaporware.
Yeah,
where you promote something that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
And people buy into it.
I understand that, like, but if it's got to come.
Yeah, eventually. But I mean, a lot of the ways that Microsoft solved that, sort of thing was by buying companies that were already doing it.
Sure.
And then just absorbing them.
Yeah. Which makes sense when you got that much money, but I would like to watch that fight. And it also made me think of, we talked about it a couple times here, like the world we're living in is idiocracy, and also like non-conspiratorial, but you guys can take it how you want. That like media of the past foreshadows our future. And you remember MTV Celebrity Deathmatch?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? So there's a show on MTV that they had like shitty claymation, and they would have these celebrities fight each other.
Right.
And it would be Eminem versus Britney Spears, and they'd wrestle in like a WWE ring. Wow, that shit's fucking happening. Like, it happened in YouTube, right? Yeah, that's like the B League. No one really knows. Mainstream doesn't care because it's like a couple big name YouTubers, but most of them are just like mid-level to higher level YouTubers, which the world doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, we got fucking Elon and Zuck. We even had like sports guys do it, right? Like Frank Gore just boxed Adrian Peterson, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't have as much hype because they also missed the internet generation by a little bit. You know, they were more popular in the early 2000s. They missed like not the internet, but the social media, so their popularity isn't as big. But there's another thing, dude. The internet's so fucked. I don't know what's real or not. Is Tom Brady dating a Kardashian?
Oh, I have no idea. That's a good question.
And
though.
then shout out to my boy Hayden Schneider. Alani, many of you might know, just did a gig with Kim Kardashian, and I saw a lot of controversy on it.
I saw that too.
The fuck your controversy, man. Like, I'm not a business is business guy, but like, if you have the opportunity to partner with the most famous person walking the planet, or at least top 5, and you successfully do that, give a man his roses, man. Shout out to Hayden. Shout out to his wife. Shout out to Alani. Like, that's so awesome to see someone come from what we do. She was a Instagrammer.
Yeah.
To now partnering with the biggest celebrity on the planet through a supplement company that is crushing it. And I give them all the props. That doesn't just happen. You know, people are like, I saw like a whole Twitter thread, like, oh, they should have chose this person or that person. Fuck you. You go start your company and you partner with whoever you want. You know, like, it's just so common, like the punching up or whatever, you know.
Here's my thought on it. If somebody is like truly a terrible, terrible person, regardless of their celebrity, maybe don't partner with them. But the Kardashians are just annoying.
Yeah, she's not a murderer.
And
they didn't do an O.J. Simpson drink.
No. The chance that you would get to see the inside of that shit.
Yeah.
Of like how her operation functions, and
Yeah.
you know, like how you would be able to tell how on top of it she is, and how much of it is designated to other people.
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff. You would see that. You have just the insight that you get from that would totally be worth the experience.
That too. And to me, it's like you don't get that opportunity unless you already set your table. So for me, it's like more props to recognize that they've earned that.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian isn't knocking on our door.
Right.
There's no way to make that happen. Even if we had right now $1 billion to say, hey, Kim, shout out our hat. That's not happening. You have to build your house.
Right.
And they built Alani to such a level that her or her people recognize that this is a possible partnership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where I give the props. Like, the actual partnership, whether it makes money or not, I don't know. I don't care. But like, you've built something to the highest level of business in the world.
Yeah.
If you're getting somebody of that nature to recognize you.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I don't I don't know how you say no to that.
Yeah,
really.
people are like, she doesn't lift and all that. I'm like, that's fine. Like, obviously, like, Hayden's a big meathead, and Katie comes from the fitness background, but like, that doesn't mean every single person like you sponsor. Every company now has a variety of models in our space.
Right.
You know, whether it's big, small apparel companies, they use different models that look like they lift, that don't look like they lift. Not everybody's a bodybuilder. And if you want to be successful, you have to try new things.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, like, if it's cool, like, if I don't know how to say it, but like, that's just, I think it's just pure haterade. I think it's just pure haterade.
I think that's true.
Because if it was you, you'd be about it.
Right.
You'd be like, dude, I'm working with the Kardashians. Like, yeah, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's fucking
And
cool.
the other thing too is that, I mean, the people who are making this commentary don't know how difficult collaborations actually are to pull off.
Or business.
Period.
They're
Or
probably
business,
Not, they're
yeah.
probably not running a business. Anyone who's running a business is giving them props.
Yeah.
It's everyone who's like sponsored by people.
Right.
Or, you know, I don't think it was here. It was someone we were interviewing, but they're basically like, I think it might have been Shali, but he was like, yeah, like, I don't want to be sponsored anymore. I want to be the guy sponsoring people. Like, that's always the answer.
That's the thing I don't understand about some of the higher, mid-level, lower, upper-level influencer types who have their own businesses, but also
take sponsorships.
take sponsorships. To me, it's like if you put a trailer for your movie on YouTube, but you monetize it. Like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
seems like a hat on a hat. You're double dipping there.
I think, at least from like my point of view, I would do it if it's a product I truly believe in that I'll never make.
Mhm.
You know, like a food one or something, or maybe not never make, because you never know what the fuck I'm gonna do. Or two, it's to support a homie.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of my friends are like that. You know, like Guzman, I think, still sponsored by Ghost, but he's friends with owners. You know, so like, I think that's cool. But I agree. It's kind of like, to me, it's more though like the mid-level people that don't have businesses that haven't even like, and this is no insult, everyone's on their own path and takes their own time, but they haven't even opened their brain to be like, oh, I'm like being sponsored only. Like, go build some shit.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of like, and build like your own shit. Don't just do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, for sure. What was I going to say? I think that the thing that surprises me is that even in this age, with social media being roughly 20 years old now, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube's 07.
Yeah.
MySpace is
15 plus. Then.
Yeah, no, probably 20 because MySpace, I guess, would be the first one ever, right? Or AOL Messenger.
That it's still such a sport to tear people down.
Yeah. You would think, which is one of our topics we want to dive into, like Twitter Threads debate. The Threads thing, someone said it right now. They're like, Threads right now is culture and humor, and Twitter is news, and they said something else. I was like, all right, it is kind of like that right now. And obviously when you bring news, you bring politics, and it's going to be a little more clashy on Twitter, where so far, even though some people responded to me kind of fucking hot for no reason. Like, I had a couple of tweets that, or threads or whatever the fuck they're called.
I think they're just called threads.
Yeah, I had a couple threads that just like got a little bit of traction, so people that don't know what I am or what I do saw it and commented back, and they just came in hot. And I'm like, if anyone follows me on any social media, I'm not throwing out real shit, you know, like today I talked about low socks, you know, I'm talking about nothing, like I'm fucking talking about trash. The other one I was talking about, I was hating, but in the form of comedy, because the term unhinged is being used a lot, and then every woman from Instagram, men too, but mostly women, sorry ladies, came out saying like, oh, you guys are done now, like I'm unhinged on Threads. And then I read their threads, and they're talking about talking about their lattes, and I'm like, well, or like, you guys are gonna see the real personality, and then there's no personality. So like, I threw some shit at that out, and someone came in hot about that, but it was like a dude coming at me, I don't know. But long story short, I thought Threads may stay tame and cultural and more pocket. One, because our niche is already built out because of Instagram.
Because it's a spin-off of Instagram.
Yeah, so you're tied into your niche already. Yeah. Rather than Twitter, even my Twitter's all over the fucking place. I do the For You mostly, and it's no one I know, which I like and don't like. But then the other thing is that your life and identity's tied to Threads. Yeah. I click that Instagram, and I see you're a fucking bitch, and you're fucking coming at me, you know, and you're fucking coming about my deadlifts. It's like Instagram. But Instagram's fucked up too. Yeah. There's trolls there, and I can clearly, you know, they're talking shit on my deadlift, and I click on their page. They don't know how to deadlift. Yeah. So, like, obviously, because everyone says that's the issue with the internet, right? Is like, no one's been punched in the face for doing the wrong thing, and like, you wouldn't talk to me in person this way, and being anonymous, and all these things. But now, in the internet age, there's levels to anonymous. There's face-to-face, where obviously you're not anonymous. But like, even Instagram is like a middle level of anonymous, because I'll do a Q&A where I can see your fucking profile, and people ask very typical shit. Mike, my deadlift's stuck, and my bench this, and how do you open a gym? And then I'll do the anonymous one where I literally can't see who's asking the question, and there's way more questions, and everything's fucking talk about unhinged. It actually gets unhinged.
I've never done one of those, probably for that reason.
Yeah, it gets crazy. And like, it's fun. Obviously, it's funny, but yeah, what you would say on your Instagram, you would for sure still not tell me in person. Yeah. You know? But I can still see you. Like, I see your fucking face, you know?
Right.
They're not always private profiles.
Or your picture.
Yeah.
Or a picture.
Yeah. I know something about you. And a lot of them are public profiles. So I can scroll around. Like, I see your wife. I see your fucking kids. So like, why are you talking shit?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think that it's been proven, too, that there are ways to engage with those people that actually get them on your side, and they're, like, more for you than they were ever against you. You know?
They're lost in the sauce for sure. I do try to be nice, but kill them with kindness.
Did you know that Threads was coming? Do you know anything about it at all ahead of time?
I read about it a couple months ago. But I thought it was going to be the Tesla truck. I thought it would come out in like 5 years.
I think maybe I just sort of glancing blow on that information at some point, but didn't really know. And then...
Yeah, I didn't dive into it. I just saw a thing that Instagram or Zuck was making a Twitter competitor, but
but everyone was,
and they don't give like good timelines, so
Yeah.
I didn't expect it just to roll out. And then, I think the day of I signed up.
I happened to see in my Instagram notifications that somebody that I follow had posted for the first time on Threads. I'm like, what the fuck is Threads?
Yeah.
So I Google it and I see what the story is, and there's like how to actually get onto Threads, and so I just did it, and I think I have the lowest Threads number of anybody that I personally know. It's like 130,000, something like that, and there's like 100 billion now.
Oh, people?
Yes.
Yeah.
As of a couple of days ago. I don't know where it is now.
Yeah, the number when you sign up, is that the number that's like coded on me? That's a little futuristic.
So you go to your Instagram.
I'm a million. I think 1, 2, 3.
I'm thinking like
4, 5. Yeah, I'm a million. I'm 1,100,000. I'm 11,87476. Yeah. See, now we're getting into some sci-fi movies where that's going to be tatted on my forehead.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zuck might do that himself. He might just come in and
the
do a
Overlord
little session with you and just.
I'll roll with Zuck.
Yeah, it's all right. Where did it go? Where's my number? This is great radio right here. Why is it not showing up? Oh, here it is. 168,991.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know who I saw, but yeah, someone hit me up. And then it was weird though, because you go to the app and you type in Threads and it's not Threads. It probably is now, but when I did it, it was some other Threads.
Yeah, there's definitely another Threads.
Yeah, but that was at the top.
Oh yeah.
And so now I'm sure the other one is. Yeah, for sure. I think it's cool. It's fun so far. It's literally. But what I don't like is in the middle of that, and I guess it probably is smart, but in the middle of the change, they mess with stuff on Instagram and automatically mess with stuff there. So like everything's a little weird,
Yeah.
Where some things you expect to just automatically transfer because it's literally an Instagram version of Twitter. That's like if you're trying to figure out how to use it, that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
But there's features that happen on Instagram that don't happen there that should. So I think they just changed it today. But like you would click, I would have a bunch. A gathering of followers, and so it just says like 5 people followed you, and and so you click on that and expecting to see a list of just those people,
and you weren't getting that.
Yeah, where on Instagram that obviously happens, and I think it happens now, or now they're doing like 1 by 1s unless it happens real fast.
Yeah, it's definitely 1 by 1s now because I don't think that followers are coming over as fast as they were.
Yeah.
People aren't adopting it as quickly as they were the first few days.
Yeah.
The other thing I just noticed yesterday is that Instagram changed back how you share.
Really?
Stuff. Yeah, because it used to be that it was all on the little paper airplane again. I mean, it moved down there, and now it's if you're trying to share outside of Instagram, then it's back up to the 3 dots again.
Yeah, which is like fine. It is weird how they're all starting to become the same, which is good though. Like the more sharing is a normal button.
Yeah,
like even that arrow button's kind of new in the scheme of the internet.
Yeah,
and so like that's all good. I'm having fun so far. It's actually a decent mix of algorithms so far for me too, where I get some people I follow for sure, some I don't.
The surprise to me is that people that I followed for a long time who were not showing up in my Instagram are now showing up in Threads.
Yeah, because the algorithm on Instagram's so heavy, right? Like if you don't interact with a post, they might just disappear on your ass. Yeah, which is good and bad. And then obviously we've been on there for so long that it comes in waves of who's active and not. So then it all ties in. The algorithms are getting strong, and I don't know if that's good culturally for the world or for
you were mentioning this
brains.
The other day and I thought it was a pretty good observation that like it's not good for the world if Twitter just becomes a total right-wing thing and Threads becomes more of a left-wing thing.
I literally click on it and I go on Twitter and people are making fun of making fun of Zuck, and then I go on Threads and people are making fun of Elon. Right. And so like that's like the bare bones, but that's where we're headed.
But it really should be about what the product is and not the people, unless you feel like that it's ill-gotten gains or whatever. There's some of that for sure, but
Elon's obviously a little bit more vocal about some of his beliefs, and he's trolls all over Twitter. So like, is that a hair of truth when he trolls? So you can never know because he's a weird fuck. Yeah. And then Zuck obviously has been caught up in some political things with the whole Facebook stuff. So you never know. So we're already, like you said, the product, and people already niche them into their political views, whether they've never come out and said like, hey, this is my political view on this and that and that. But the
Elon
world
has, but he's changed.
Yeah, a bunch.
Yeah, he used to be more kind of libertarian, a little more left leaning, little European.
Yeah,
and now
which he is.
Now he's moved.
Yeah,
he's not really. He's African, but still.
Yeah, you were reading their book, or was it my mom?
It's your mom.
Yeah, because she said they basically didn't have a home. That his dad was a pilot, I think.
Oh yeah.
And they just like flew just the family would fly all over everywhere.
Yeah,
his entire life. Beside the point.
His mom is scary, by the way.
Yeah, I think all of them are weird. I mean, anybody at that level is a fucking weirdo, and that's what the point is, right? Like everyone knows you talked. If I like wanted to run a semi-manipulative interview, you know how they do on the streets on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, hey, do you think most CEOs are crazy and narcissistic? Oh yeah, I've heard studies. They're all crazy. I'm like, oh, and then I'll ask a few more questions. And I'll say, hey, what do you think about Elon? Oh, I love Elon. Or what?
Yeah.
Like, no, bitch, he's crazy too. Why do you think just him? Because he has like a little bit. He's tapped into the internet culture, which he is. He's good at that. He's a great marketer, right? So like, just because you think he's kind of funny and entertaining, all of a sudden now he's not a crazy person. What about The Rock? That guy's a fucking crazy person. By the way, I don't know if I brought this up either. My memory's shot. I'm dieting pretty hard right now. My shit's fucked. I think The Rock. I think we switched the stone on The Rock. No pun. I think the world don't like him anymore.
I think that's generally true.
I love that. I've been leading the way. I've been on that train for 10 years. The world don't like him no more. They think he's corny finally. But I feel like
corny.
But 2 years ago, everyone was sucking his stones.
If you think about it, his whole bit, his whole aesthetic was born out of wrestling, about professional wrestling.
Oh yeah,
so it's all a bit.
Yeah, he's never been Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah,
he's still been The Rock.
It's all a gimmick.
Yeah, I don't know where I was heading with that either. But so Elon's good at that. They're all fucked. The left leaning, right leaning for sure can turn into platforms, which is already happening. Rumble is catching some momentum, and they're just a looser YouTube, right? So some like kids are going there to put their content because they can get away with more, but also more Republican or right leaning news and content creators are there versus YouTube, right? Which may not they each allow different shit. And then besides politics, I don't even think algorithms in the long term are healthy because it forces the human to find an identity with like an interest.
Yeah.
And so like just because you have an interest doesn't mean it has to be your identity, but you start to do that either as a creator or a consumer. Oh, I'm a Max Tuning fan. I'm a Guzman fan, and Guzman likes this, this, and this, so I like this, this, and this. And then it just separates us as humans even more. And it's natural, I think, because we're trying to find community online, but there's a fine line of that, And I think it's already showing with how separated we are as a country and even as a world. Bringing the world together is going to be a tough issue, but we could definitely bring each other together as a country maybe, or a state or a city or something. But we're just lacking so much community, and these people are lacking so much identity because it's so tied to one or two singular nonsense, where and then it's positively reinforced by what we consume. And it's positively reinforced as a creator and a consumer.
And people seek out the things that agree with them, and
of course,
and try to avoid the things that don't. And if they do
then
encounter the things they don't agree with, goes back to they tear it apart.
Yeah, and I've said that for a long time, and I say I'm not political, but I am very interested in all and how people think and how the world works. But I listen to a pretty right-leaning radio and podcasts, and I watch pretty left-leaning YouTube and Twitch. Like, I think that's the only way so you can actually think for yourself rather than, diving into your algorithm. Because as soon as you like one thing on one side, it's going to dive you in deeper. Or even, like, in politics, obviously, are huge and it's so hot. But, like, even with fucking bodybuilding versus powerlifting or whatever it is, the algorithms are so strong. You like the wrong thing or watch the wrong thing for 3 seconds, your whole feed's going to be there. And so it's like almost, and I do agree with individual responsibility, but like we have to start to like wake up a little bit and start to realize what we're consuming. And everyone says that, like, oh, consume positive shit. I don't necessarily think you only have to watch puppy videos. We can be real, but I do think you need to watch a variety of things so you can kind of actually think for yourself for once.
Thinking about the format, it's kind of seemed to me that with this thing just keeps falling down. Pardon the noises I'm going to make right now, everyone. That sort of helped. Twitter. I don't think Twitter was really great for fitness influencers. I think that it's only the info influencers that Twitter really worked for.
And even that, I don't think anyone like grew there.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Sports, news.
Sports, news, personalities. Comedians, mental health, more.
Yeah. But it definitely does feel sports news when I think of.
Yeah, me too. Instagram definitely, fed the influencer thing.
Cars, fitness.
Yeah.
Travel.
Yeah.
Right? Like all the beautiful fucking landscapes you see in Hawaii or whatever the fuck. Those are kind of the three that pop in my head for Instagram.
Watches, pictures, period.
Yeah. Not anymore, sadly, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in the beginning it was very... Yeah, luxury shit. Cool life shit.
And, I mean, TikTok, everybody talks about that as being... a short-form information platform.
Yeah.
And for good and ill, some people have decent additions to the world, and other people don't have decent additions to the world.
TikTok honestly might be the most variety that had success.
Maybe so.
Because there's some conspiracy shit that goes crazy. There's political shit that goes crazy. It is literal just clips of life, right? You get the Too Long Did Not Read version of anything in the world. So that's fitness. Too Long Did Not Read the political. Too Long Did Not Read the fashion. Too Long Did Not Read the animal stuff. Discovery Channel type shit. TikTok probably, I think, had, and this is 100% just an observation, but I bet you if they broke down the numbers, it had the most like viral following. Most people built a career, whatever it is, in the most variety of shit.
Probably so. And like YouTube isn't one thing.
Yeah, YouTube would probably be number 2 to TikTok.
Yeah. YouTube is definitely not one thing because there are plenty of people who, and it's algorithm based, but it's also just interest in what people search for too.
Yeah.
Like you want to see the stuff that you're actually interested in.
And the trends changed there a bunch too, right? In the beginning it might have been more how-tos.
Yeah.
Shit ton of how-tos, shit ton of music. But now you're right. You can literally probably find anything from political talk shows, fully produced fucking, TV shows. Mr. Beast shows are TV shows. Mr. Beast shows are better than Survivor on YouTube or on real TV.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And he puts the money in too. It's he has 7-figure budgets on these things.
Yeah. We recently got caught up, not in the algorithm, but in some, I don't know exactly what it was, but some episode that we did, I don't remember which one it was, couldn't be monetized. It was something that was uploaded for a couple weeks before we released it, and they must have scanned the thing a bunch of times, and they decided that something was offensive about it, and so it couldn't be monetized. And I never figured out what the hell it was.
Yeah, I just saw Max Tuning speaking about I was just joking about it before, but he was getting angry and bitter on Twitter at YouTube for reviewing his podcast, where I think he's like, dude, we talk about like nothing.
Yeah.
And they ripped it down. And that's another
They
thing.
ripped it down?
Yeah, I think because it's so, there's so much info on YouTube that is obviously a bot of some nature doing this. It's not individually being watched every video, right? That's again another reason why people are, you can call it whatever you want, but they're calling it, freedom of speech, which isn't the same thing, but that's why they're going to Rumble. And I do understand, right? Like if your content is controversial, you still want to make it, like, is it dangerous? Maybe some, but maybe not all controversial takes are dangerous inherently.
No.
So like you should be able to put them out somewhere. And then same with, which is the thing I do like about Twitter, like Elon's asking creators to put full-length videos there. So he's asking Mr. Beast and stuff, and he's trying to match the AdSense of YouTube on Twitter, which is cool. At least it's a step forward. And then, a bunch of like the young content creators who are just like a little crazy, or they like to drop an F-bomb. You can't do that on YouTube anymore, even with an adult warning and all this shit. So they're going to go to Rumble because they're at least allowed to curse, or, from their perspective, be themselves. So I do understand. And it is about time we have more competitors, because a bunch came along over the years, right? Like, what's the fucking live stream? Telescope? Was it Telescope?
Periscope.
Periscope. was close. You know, like those came and went, couldn't hang on.
What was the second one?
I don't even know.
So Twitter
bought one.
Yeah, and what was that one called?
I don't know. Was there one with an animal-ish name?
I have no idea.
I feel like there was a fish something in my brain.
I don't know why I can't. God damn it! It's just a word. And it's not.
Oh, it's like a fake word, like Yahoo.
No, it's a real word.
Oh.
What were they called? Vines.
Oh, Vine. Vine was successful. It was just short-lived.
I don't know why it was so short-lived. I don't know.
I think money and stuff on the back end, I think. Yeah. Kind of like, maybe even, I don't know.
That's why we can't have nice things.
But that's why I went to TikTok. A lot of those guys that were successful there went to TikTok. TikTok's, the newest version. And TikTok, is like popped off in the last 3 years, but it's been around almost 10 years now. Like it's not new.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok's oldish. So, but they weren't necessarily competitors because I think Vine already died. But yeah, for YouTube to have a competitor, I'm all for that because then YouTube's got to step up their game in monetizing, step up their game and talking to their creators, step up. Twitch is going through a huge thing for any of those that watch live stream. There's 3 or 4 platforms that are really fighting against Twitch to make it better. Kick's the biggest one. Rumble does a little bit of live stuff, and they're starting to push. And then YouTube Live, at least in the gaming space, I don't think it's much in other spaces, but in the gaming space is making a lot of moves and trying to sign a lot of people. So I think it's good because, like you said, social media, even if it is 20 years old, is still new. And so it takes time. Like Ford was probably the only car on the road, or 90% of them for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So it takes time, but...
Well, there were a ton of competitors, but that was the most successful, I guess, initially.
Yeah, top level. And kind of like this then, right? Because then there's Periscope was there, but it's not.
I liked Periscope.
It's cool. It was cool.
I never really got Vines.
Some of the threads people say are like, oh, dude, when's Thread coming out with live and stuff? And I'm like, well, like, why?
Oh, and there's no DMs. You can go to Instagram and get your DMs.
Yeah, I think a DM would be okay because if you find someone new. But yeah, you could also just click on the little Instagram and go DM them. Live isn't really needed, right? Because then we have YouTube Live.
Yeah, my understanding is that there's a bunch of stuff coming to Threads. This is just like the minimum viable product version of Threads.
Yeah, and then there's a lawsuit. I don't know how real or how fake or how legitimate that is, but I think Elon's already suing Zuck over it.
I don't think that's going to work because Elon laid off a bunch of people. Part of their severance package was that they had a non-compete. And then a number of them went to work for Meta.
Oh.
But supposedly none of them worked on Threads.
Probably. Because,
Threads has been in the works since January.
And he just fired them a year ago or less.
Last fall.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe. It is cool. I just like competitors. I keep yelling at myself for not being the guy that hopped on TikTok when it came about and not take advantage of it. So I'm on Threads fucking around.
And I feel like Threads might have a better shot at being a good place for fitness because Instagram has been.
Yeah, probably. But then that's like the joke of people being unhinged. Is like everyone's like, oh, but like all these fitness folks are nice to look at, but they ain't got shit to say. And I feel like that too. Not that I'm nice to look at, but I sometimes I don't always have a joke.
Yeah,
I made a couple jokes, but it's not like I'm not a comedian. I'm not whipping out jokes all the day on Twitter, so I don't blame these pretty Fitzbos to not have an interesting thread and that it's just going to be selfies again, but it is what it is.
Excuse me. I'm kind of treating it the way that I did Twitter at the beginning and the way that I did Facebook at the beginning. It's honestly a little bit more dialed down, a little bit more real, and I actually feel somewhat motivated to do it, whereas I'm kind of demotivated from all the other platforms at this point.
I do think if Instagram and Threads want to be like the same thing, then they can't overlap too much. So like already in my head, Stories and Threads overlap too much.
A little bit.
Like obviously Stories are more video, but not always. There's a lot. You scroll through people's stories, it's a lot of pictures, it's a lot of writing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a video feature will... Actually, I think you can already post videos on Threads, but I'm sure that'll become more popular, right? Yeah. A text plus a thing. So like I don't know. And then if pictures and videos plus text on Threads become the norm, which they will, then it's old Instagram.
Correct.
Right. Just in a scrolling form.
But they're kind of addressing some of the things that have, caused Instagram to be less impactful. I think.
Because now Instagram's more TikTok. Yeah. Right. You're on a reel and it's auto replay. So I don't think it's all bad, but to me, I'm treating Threads, kind of like a story. It's similar to my story, right? It's fast action in the moment now, not as long lived.
But they do stick around, like
they'll pop back up
like your timeline does.
Yeah. And like your reel, they do stick around, and even algorithmically, they catch fire a little later sometimes, like a reel. You could post a reel back in Instagram days, like the first half an hour showed if you were going to get likes or not, because then you're dead. Yeah. It's gone. Where now things can pop up a week later, a month later, a year later.
Yeah.
More like YouTube or something. TikTok's like that. I think all the algorithms have taken that. I don't know necessarily where or how or why that is, but things can get uncovered and catch flame.
Yeah, no, I agree. The other thing I wanted to talk about today, just a little bit, is the issue of home health tests. And like the world's, largely changed in the last 3 years around the whole issue of home testing because of COVID. Because so many people did home COVID tests. And I think that they were, kind of reliable in their lane, but they were not perfectly reliable. Excuse me. But now there's a whole, businesses built around, and I guess there has been for a while, but home testing for testosterone stuff, male stuff, female stuff, STDs.
Is the biggest one, STDs. I feel like STDs and test are like the highest, right? Like,
ones,
is it Quest?
Quest, yeah, but Quest you actually have to go in.
Oh, but it's like a McDonald's version.
Kind of
like drive through.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah.
Because those have been around. I feel like started popping up just before the pandemic,
and they're kind of everywhere.
They're everywhere now, so they got to be killing it. And obviously, we're in the fitness space, so it's kind of hard to tell the real pulse of the culture nationally or worldwide. But yeah, like the HRT. People don't even say TRT anymore. I don't think
they say
HRT.
HRT.
They're just like, I am a bit of a hater. I'm one of the last living natties on the planet. But like, they're like, I feel like people that take copious amounts of steroids or are so pro steroids are always finding layers to like self-defend or like water it down. Mm-hmm. Like, no, I don't take tests. It's hormone therapy. Like, like it's always trying to.
It could be anything.
Yeah. Like,
bro.
What the fuck?
It's not all tests.
And so those companies.
It could be trend, right?
There's 100 of them now.
Yeah.
That are doing home kits, home doctors, home this, home that. And I don't know. I think some of it's trendy. Some of it's obviously like big podcasts. Even like Huberman and those guys are all about like hormone regulation.
Right.
But like, again, like, is it just? I think it's just like so lifestyle based. If you're 40 years old and you've been eating McDonald's for the last 20 years, like, yeah, your shit's fucked. Like, duh. You're fucking fat. You don't move. You eat McDonald's all day. Like, yeah, something's going to be wrong in your body when you test it.
Right.
Like, I could do the test for free, too. Like, go run a fucking 30 feet. Let's see what you look like after. I could tell you your shit's fucked.
And if the tests are offered by a company that also offers solutions for the test.
Yeah, of course.
Then you kind of have to feel like it's going to be a little bit on the rigged side.
But people don't like see that. Or membership. They're all membership based.
Yeah.
So you're paying like a monthly to get access to this doctor, and then you're paying for the test is free. Well, that's because you're paying $400 a month. Mm-hmm. And then your drugs cost more than they would from a real doctor. Why is that?
Or on the street.
Right? Yeah, for sure on the street. Right? So like, but because you probably do feel slightly better, because you're automatically going to look better.
Yeah.
It's just a scaled up version of what we talk about with like supplements. Like every supplement's going to have beta alanine in it and caffeine in it, because as soon as you take it, you're going to physically feel something. Right. And so then psychologically you think it's working. And although beta alanine and caffeine do work, and they do have, positive effects in performance, but you automatically feel something. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to be addicted to it because that sensation makes you think that it's working. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, you take test for a month, and you're a woman, man, in between, I don't care who you are or what your levels are, you're going to probably feel better and build more muscle, which is scientifically proven. Even without lifting weights, you're going to build more muscle. So, of course, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I was so sick, and now look at me. I got some delts. I got some traps.
Right.
I lost just a little body fat. My hair's thicker. Like, yeah, bitch, yeah.
yeah.
Clearly. But that doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean it's good. And doesn't mean that you probably should have taken other precautions to try to fix it first.
Correct, yeah.
And because those tests are just still fucked up. And so, like, I'm not a doctor, and so don't quote me, but the natural level of, like, test is somewhere between, like, 300 and 800 or something, right? So a doctor will test you. Say you're even 26. A doctor tests you and you're at 300. Oh, man, you're on the low end of the scale. Let's boost you up closer to 800. Mm-hmm. But if you've been at 300 your entire life with no negative sides,
yeah,
you're in the normal range. It's called the normal range.
Yeah.
There's probably NFL players with lower end tests. Like, it's not the one determining factor.
Yeah, it's what your body does with it, too,
Yeah, because your receptors matter.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you're naturally at 300 and you got a fucking full beard, you're jacked as fuck, and you feel great.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Why fuck with it?
But they do.
Yeah.
Because, again, like you said, like, the same person giving the test is the same person with the doctor. That's the same person selling the shit. It's the same person selling you the subscription that's getting you locked in because it's something. I mean, it's the best business model ever because you can't take it once and it fixes it.
Correct.
It's expensive and you need it weekly.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, it's no different than the anti-big pharma crowd.
Yeah.
But the anti-big pharma crowd are the pro-test crowd.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not to discount that some people really get good benefits from working with these kinds of companies.
100%.
That totally happens. But as you point out, I would say a higher percentage of those people are fixing past indiscretions, I guess.
Or fixing things that aren't there. The other thing I've heard over the last 3 years, and this is 100% anecdotal just from reading and looking, is like the culture in fitness and not used to say like, oh, you're about 45? Yeah, maybe check your test. TRT is pretty good when you're about 45.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, when you start to reach 30, 35, probably check your test. I swear to God, I've seen people say like, oh, you're in your late 20s? Probably should check that test. Late 20s? Like, what are we doing?
That's insanity.
You know what I mean? Like, again, if you're not fucking... And I don't want to be like the fat shamer, but if you're not just fucking eating McDonald's sitting on your fucking couch all day, your test is probably going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Probably to 40.
Yeah.
I feel great. Like, yeah, like the breeze or, looking at a fucking, piece of fruit doesn't get me hard like when I was 17, but like, you know what I mean? But that's good.
I don't want to know which fruit did
all of them, really. That's the issue. Everything but a banana. Bananas didn't do it for me. But everything else, really rock hard. But that's like a natural progression to go, right? Like your brain, your two brains are connected, your cock and your brain when you're 17. That's not good. The bad things come when they're all connected like that. You don't
thinking with the wrong head.
Yeah, you don't know which one you're thinking with.
Yeah.
That's the issue. And then you get into your 20s and now you can understand what you're thinking with. And that's great. That's called maturity. It's okay that my test went down probably a little bit since I was 17. That's normal. But that doesn't mean I need to go inject myself every day.
Let's clear your head a little bit.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I think I was choking having this conversation with Nadeem. I was like, no, that's good. You don't want the fucking... Yeah, you don't want to look at a cartoon and get a boner. Like, that's not normal. That's 17-year-old behavior.
You can't ride a bus or a train.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, nothing that moves or vibrates, nothing. But... I swear to God that trend has happened from 45 you should probably get your levels tested, check it out, to 30 to now. I swear they're saying 20, you're 27, yeah, maybe you want to check it out, you'll probably feel better.
Yeah, I mean really it should probably be driven by symptoms and not by lab tests. And then the thing is that a lot of these lab tests, even the ones that are not tied to companies that solve the problem for you, they're only so accurate.
Sure.
And
you can't test like horniness level.
No.
Yeah.
There's no objective measurement.
There should be a horny test. You all need it.
Well, I mean, sort of there is.
What, like a bony?
Yeah. A penile pethyslogram, where they put a ring around your...
Like that documentary we saw.
Yes.
The vegetarian one.
Yes.
Where veggie burritos make you hard. And I think your dick grows.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's crazy. The world is crazy. A documentary tried to tell the world, and it got a very popular documentary, said that you eat a veggie burrito versus a steak burrito, and your dick is hard automatically. Bigger. They said it was bigger. What world am I in?
I don't even know.
And people believe it.
Yeah, people do. Because people want to believe that things that would normally not have an effect over, that they can affect.
Well, and again, it is the easy route.
Yeah.
All I got to do is do a fajita burrito versus a steak burrito, and I'm going to be a fucking Johnny Sins.
Yeah.
That's a porn star. Don't act like you don't know, you motherfuckers. It's just so weird. The whole world, I do feel like we live in, I don't know, you want to call it the Matrix or Idiocracy or whatever you want to call it, but I feel like I'm in it.
Yeah. I recently did a home test for something, and I got one result, and it was directional, but not totally accurate. And it was a blood test. I had to prick my fingers a bunch of times because I don't bleed very well.
Yeah. You should have got our boy Jerry to do it.
Oh yeah.
He's a phlebotomist.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I did not know
little
that.
Jerry. Yeah.
Oh, little Jerry.
Yeah.
Not
No, big Jerry. No, little Jerry.
No, so Big Jerry's kind of medium Jerry.
He's just big compared to the other Jerry.
Yeah.
And older. Yeah,
Oh,
little
is he?
Yeah. Big Jerry's maybe 28, 29.
Oh, okay.
Little Jerry's 21, stealing everyone's blood. The vampire.
Big Jerry surprises me because his body weight is not reflective in his size.
Yeah, he holds it pretty good. I imagine he's what, 200 pounds?
No, I think he's in like the 180s.
Yeah. I mean, he's not super tall either. Like
No.
you said. He's probably 5'6", 5'7".
Anyway,
Very powerlifter builds in here.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm the tallest dude in the gym.
No, that one dude is. I don't know his name.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Natalie's brother's fucking 6'9" or something.
Yeah, he's a very big boy.
No.
I didn't know he was Natalie's brother though. Anyway though, no, then got the same tests. I don't have them all back yet, but like the same tests done with blood, and the direction is kind of similar, but it's not. It's not nearly as accurate.
I mean, we're just complicated fucking cars, right? So like a mechanic runs a bunch of tests and says maybe it's this.
Yeah.
You know, that's all we are.
Yeah, and I think that you and I were talking about this before, that the home test is kind of the first cut of is there something to be concerned about or whatever if you don't have. And I did this home testing because I didn't have immediate access to a doctor. I could do a whole show on how fucked up managed care is.
Yeah, everywhere.
I used to work in the industry, and I can tell you that it's not now the way it was envisioned.
Yeah, everywhere's
not
fucked.
at all.
Everywhere's fucked.
But yeah, anyway though, so there is a database that's run by the FDA, and you can keep your comments about the FDA to yourself, everybody. I don't know, Mike doesn't have any, but about over-the-counter tests and which ones are actually vetted and approved by the FDA.
Oh yeah,
the list is short.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. So there's a whole lot of
and I'm split on that, right? Because that could just mean that getting the certified test, because we even know it in powerlifting, right? To get your logo certified somewhere is like so many hoops you got to jump through.
Yeah.
Rather than they could be using the same protocols and labs as these other people, so it could be legitimate, right? They just haven't paid $10,000 a month to get their stamp of approval. You know, like that's what I just hate about. Talk about living in the matrix. You just can't trust a motherfucker anywhere,
right?
Because everything's like where the money leads, and then there's so many hoops, and you know, like trying to start a business, put a sign in front of your business, you got to pay this much per square foot. Like there's always loops in our little world.
Yeah,
imagine something like blood.
Yeah, for sure. I think that if you're actually being sent to a lab to have your blood drawn, those tests are just inherently more accurate.
Yeah, you would hope.
Ones you have to do yourself. Some of them are saliva based. It's like 23andMe and Ancestry, whatever. It takes a long time to get enough spit.
Yeah.
There are plenty of the testosterone tests and stuff are saliva tests.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And
I'd
then
do that. I just don't want to. I don't like to bleed, you know. And then I also never want to do a poop one because I just can't wrap my head around how to grab that thing.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay, I can give you the 411 on this.
I mean, I know. I just don't want to go through all that.
Yeah.
You know? And I know it's coming.
Yeah, you're still young.
Yeah.
You're young in that respect. But no, I've had like one
pooper regular
colonoscopy.
Oh yeah. That doesn't bother me as much. I mean like a fecal deal.
No, well, stand by.
All right.
I'm going to get there.
Yeah, colonoscopy I'm not stoked on, but you know.
Well,
people do it for fun, so it can't be that bad.
I don't think it's the same thing.
No, but some people shove things up there for fun. You know?
This is true. There's a whole TikTok that a doctor does. It's things that people stuck up their ass.
Yeah,
and it's all like you see X-rays.
Yeah, Jackass did a what's the little cars? Not a hot rod, Hot Wheel. Yeah, Hot Wheel up the butt. Up the pooper.
Years ago, my wife had a patient in the hospital who used to put the shaved heads of Barbies on a string up his ass.
Oh, for fun.
Yes.
See, that's what I mean. It can't be the worst thing ever. And I know people probably bleed for fun, but that's a real small niche. There's a good amount of people that like butt play, so it can't be that bad.
Well,
and if I have a hot doctor,
you're not awake for it, so
then that's even better. Yeah, knock me out.
Yeah,
that's rape.
Yeah, it could be the one that I had they had trouble knocking me out.
Oh.
I had a lot of trouble knocking me out, and they're like, okay, we're gonna give you some more of this. That's okay? And it's like, oh, all right, fine. And they're like, okay, we're gonna get started now. So I can see the beginning of it. They like showed it to me on the thing, and then I went down, and then I was out for hours and hours, and I was wiped out for days afterwards.
Yeah, just from the morphine or whatever.
It was Benadryl, IV Benadryl, and like Valium or something that. And like I just did not have a good reaction to it, and so
sleepies.
So that's why when it came around again, I was like, I want to do the other one, the Cologuard one, where it's like a little hat thing, and you just put it in the toilet, and you just like
sit on it.
It hangs in the seat, and you sort of drop it into there, and then you just, when you get as much as you're supposed to, you just pull it out, and then you just pack it up and send it to them.
Interesting.
But I mean, it's icky.
Yeah.
But it's less icky for me personally than
being asleep for a week.
Yeah, exactly. I lose too much time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you come up with an odd result on the Cologuard one, you have to go and do the regular one. But I would just rather not. Yeah. Honestly.
Same.
All right. So in the show notes, I will add this database from the FDA about how to find out whether or not the test that you're ordering from somebody or anybody or whatever is actually
semi-legit,
approved or semi-legit. And just always keep in mind that if you're ordering a test from somebody that also sells the solution to whatever problem you might discover,
it does seem so hairy.
Yeah, it could be, a little bit suspect.
Oh, do some research, kids.
Yeah, there you
go. Ladies and gentlemen, new episodes every Wednesday, Friday. I'm Sam Mike. Where you want to find me? GoodCompanyDiscord.com. Join us there. Exclusives, early access, and sneak peeks. And I'm Sam Mike. Where you want to find me? 3rd Street Barbell, Sacramento, California. If you are in town, if you live here, you want to find a community and a gym, stop on by.
I am at the Jim McDonald on all the social media. This show is 50% facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers. 50% facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And if you're into some like beer pint glasses with some bear logos and a thermoflask to keep your shit cold or hot or whatever, just go head over to goodcompanyapparel.com/3sb.co. We'll talk next time. Sebastian.